I played a lot of Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, and I played a lot of Gwent. I mean, a lot, like 50% of my time on Witcher 3 was on Gwent. You guys started developing Witcher 3 years ago. Were you thinking about a standalone Gwent game on that time? Was recently that you think about a Gwent standalone game?
Actually, no, because when we started developing Witcher 3, Gwent was not part of it. We still had the DICE game from Witcher 2 in there, and that was also supposed to become a part of Witcher 3, and then two of our development members said, wait a second, we're going open world, we're doing all these new things, we need a new minigame. And then the guy heading up the development team said, well, I give you the weekend and you come up with a good idea, and then maybe we do it or not, because it's extra work. And they made it possible, and then all of a sudden we had Gwent in the game, and then, well, you know where it went from then. We had no idea. You can't plan these things, but at the same time, obviously, I mean, we have the game running in the background. We're super proud to have a Gwent standalone that comes out of an idea that basically was made over a weekend.
You know, you guys couldn't imagine that Gwent would explode like that. I mean, it was supposed to be just a minigame, right?
Yeah.
So my question is, what's the difference between Gwent on Witcher 3 Wild Hunt and this Gwent standalone game?
Yeah. Well, mainly if you look at the minigame in Wild Hunt, it was player versus CPU. The balancing was not really there. I mean, if you played it a lot, it was a fun game. You played it, people played it more than we thought, but we had to completely rebalance the game in order to make it a player versus player game. And we gave the cards like different functions and different special abilities, and just balancing, fine-tuning, lots of animations, like a new user interface. So basically it's a new game, but it still has all the Gwent origins in there. So if you know Gwent from The Witcher, you'll feel home. But if you've not touched that one, you get into that quite easy.
And what about the decision of making a free-to-play game? I mean, like the freemium, we call it, this model. How you guys got on this idea? How you will balance the players that will not spend much and the players that like love to spend a lot of game on these cash-based games?
The first question is kind of easy to answer. If you look at card games, free-to-play, even if free-to-play has kind of a negative approach to it, is the best way to get the game to a really wide audience. And if you want a popular online game, you need to have a wide audience, because the worst thing is if you want to play online it's against someone else, but nobody bought your game because it was actually quite expensive, and then you can't play anyone. It doesn't work. But then the second question, if there would be the perfect answer to that, how much you charge, how do you balance that, how do you make money, that'd be great. And then we would consult everyone and we would say, hey, this is the way. We don't think there is a perfect way, but if you look at CD Projekt and if you look how we handled the free DLC for The Witcher, or the value for money you got for the expansions, how many hours you got out of that, we're trying to get a way that really stays in our CD Projekt pass. We don't want to rip off anyone. For example, you will be able to buy these card and booster packs, but you will see before you buy them what kind of hero card you get. Plus you will be able to unlock the stuff by regularly playing. So we rather take the very fair and transparent approach, which probably makes less money. But I think mid-term and long-term people appreciate it. Same thing is, I think we could have charged more money for Blood and Wine. It would have still sold very well. But then again, if you look how many people actually were very positive about saying this is a great value for money, I can't believe this is part of the expansion pass. I think it paid off, just probably in a slightly different way. Once the closed beta starts and we get a lot of feedback, which is really important for us, that people tell us what's good, but most important, what's not good, we balance and then we see how we do that. But there is no perfect answer for how do you do micropayments and that kind of stuff. And that is our approach. We just want people to feel that they don't get ripped off. And I mean, The Witcher, when it launched, was 60 euros or 60 bucks or whatever. And that's a lot of money. Even if you get hundreds of hours, it's a lot of money. And you just have to make sure that, like you just said, that you didn't, like you felt you get a great package for that. You tell other people, and that's how we want basically the approach for Gwent. Make it free, people play it, and they tell other people that it's really fun. And you've got a few people who spend money on that, and that's really nice. and just make it a fair process and a very transparent process.
So on Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, we had about 4 groups of cards. Now we will have another ones, or we have more cards than before. Are you guys already planning expansion packs for it, like updates and this kind of stuff?
Yeah, like when you start developing one of those games, of course, when you do a business plan, that's kind of the boring stuff. But you do, like, let's say you make a lifetime best case plan. And so at some point we made a plan that it would be great to have expansions for The Witcher 3, and then you see if you have the resources. But if it does really well, what we don't know yet, feedback is great, a lot of people signed up for the closed beta already, but if it does well, we'll have new content. For example, we have a single player campaign in the game, which I think is kind of unique in that form, how we have it in Gwent. And if the game does well, why not have more single player content? Why not at some point have another deck? We never thought there would be a Skellige deck, but then we did it for Blood and Wine, and now it's in Gwent, and never say never.
And for the guys that are watching us that want to play Gwent, where they can then play it, and how can they play it?
So we're starting with a closed beta on October 25th on Xbox and PC, where you can sign up on playgwent.com. The PS4 version, we also have a closed beta that starts a bit later. But yeah, end of October, basically, if you have a PC or an Xbox, you can play for free, get us your feedback, get us your honest feedback, tell us what you like, tell us what you don't like.
Okay, so thank you very much for the interview.
Pleasure.
I'm really expecting.
Thanks.
Really anxious for Gwent.
Yeah, you should play another round.
I will.
Play against one of our developers and ask him not to be nice.
Okay.
Okay?
I will just cry.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Pleasure.